Can be an explosive Nebraska offense. What's the challenge of Trey Palmer, Casey Thompson, all those guys?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that is the challenge is limiting the explosive plays. They've made their money on those, especially here lately. They're not afraid to stretch the field vertically, and the quarterback likes to take chances and give his guys opportunities. You see a lot of times QBs on contested deep ball throws will throw the ball out of bounds or throw it too far, and then they're trying to place it perfectly, and he does a good job of leaving it in bounds and giving his guys a chance to go make plays, and they have made plays for him, so it's deservedly so. So we'll have our hands cut out for us for sure.
I guess when you're able to have the success you had with guys kind of being on mid-season award watching stuff, how much does that change what you're able to tell recruits when you guys go on the road?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like we've been telling recruits, all the way back to last year what was going to happen, and so now that it is out there and you can see and show proof, it definitely helps on the recruiting trail. But this isn't a surprise to anybody in the building, and so we've been broadcasting this type of awards, accolades, play, and so now to have tangible proof is definitely beneficial on the recruiting trail.
Someone like Matt, we've seen him Matt Bailey can get more dime packages. Does he have both safety versatility, or is there one he's more comfortable with than the other?
No, like we obviously from a physical standpoint, he is big enough, strong enough, aggressive enough to play, sort of where Sydney plays, like around the line of scrimmage. But he's still rangy enough and has a good knack of being able to identify what type of angles the ball's in the air, reading the quarterback at the top of the drop. He's got some savviness there, and so definitely has some position flexibility in the safety room.
Coach, what's different about Nebraska now with the interim head coach?
Schematically, it's very similar. You're still getting the same type of plays, still getting the same type of formations, and still the offense coordinators is still there, still calling the plays. I would say, ratio, run the pass, or some of the tendencies and being aggressive. I think that has changed a little bit, and so we've definitely focused on the breakdown of when Coach Joseph took over, and then also had a breakdown of when Frost was still there. So we are covering our bases on all of those fronts.
Quan made a point after mentioned that all three safeties got a pick. I mean, just that group. I mean, have you had maybe two or three like that in previous stops that you've coached, or are they all kind of?
That's hard. It's a hard one, just because schematically we are so different now. I don't know if I've had three in the same class that have been this productive. And are playing at this high level. Obviously, at Missouri, in a similar system, we had two guys in the same class that ended up getting drafted. And so, this has been fun. I mean, I think the thing that's unique about the three is their versatility. Like, they can all do different things. Like, you see all of them covering man-to-man. Whether Sydney's split out covering, a tight end, that's their top target, and so he's lined up like a corner. He's covering the tight end man-to-man. He's made a ton of plays there. Kendall is also made plays in man-to-man coverage. He's our dime in our sub packages, and he's covering slot receivers or tight ends. And obviously Quan you see him play man-to-man all the time in the slot. And then now you've gotten to see all three of them play at a deep safety role and have all gotten interceptions at a deep safety spot. And so I just think the fluidity with which we can move them around and change their responsibilities is definitely freeing from a schematic standpoint and from a play caller standpoint.
When you go up against somebody like Trey Palmer, is that a challenge to your guys? Like, how do they respond to?
I mean, they embrace that kind of stuff. There's no lack of confidence in specifically on the defensive side of the ball and the defensive backfield. So they enjoy these kind of matchups. That doesn't mean that we won't pay attention to where he's at. and respect the speed he has, respect the way he's able to high point the ball and go for the deep ball and shoot. They give him the ball all over the place and in different areas of the field. And so we respect that aspect of it, but we don't fear anybody. That is directly from Coach B. Like that's respect all, fear none. That breathes throughout the entirety of the program, and it's no different in the defensive backfield.
Because they've gone through the change, are they more unpredictable in terms of what they might do offensively?
I would say they're a little more aggressive. You do see more shots down the field. I do think they do a good job of identifying matchups that they feel are favorable, and then trying to exploit those matchups and get their better players the ball and get them the ball in space. And so those are all things that we're clued into, and I'm glad we had a bye week to study.
Brian, there's not a lot of guys that played there with a sold-out crowd. Last time there was 2020. Like,
Yeah.
what do you tell them about playing in Lincoln from your days?
Yeah, it's it is a great atmosphere to play. Obviously, playing at Colorado, I was able to play there I think 2 or 3 years out of my time there. The fans are very in tune to football IQ. Like, they know what is going on. They know when to cheer and how loud to cheer. I also know that it gets dead silent when you make plays there. And so, I've sort of talked through to our guys, what to expect. And they're also very polite fans at the end of the game. So, there will be momentum swings, and we just got to do a good job of not hearing those momentum swings and not paying attention to them and just focusing in on our job. I do think going to playing at Wisconsin earlier this year will help prepare us. I think playing at Penn State last year for the guys that are back will definitely be some environments to be able to draw on. But at the end of the day, it's just about focusing in on us and doing our job.
Coach, when you recruit a kid who can play either side of the ball, is there a conversation between you and the offensive staff, or is it more of a we'll figure it out when he gets here kind of thing?
It's actually going through the recruiting process. You got to ask the prospect, like, what do they want to be when they get here, and at our place we are truthful with our recruits, and if we're recruiting a guy that's playing both ways and we're recruiting him on defense, then we'll make that known, and so there won't be any surprises when they get on campus. But generally it's the prospect's wishes on what side of the ball he wants to play, and then that side recruits him, and when they get here, that's the position they're going to play.
Barry said that had pretty good energy for a Sunday practice, just coming off of bye week. How do you maybe take advantage of guys having energy when they get back out and play again?
Well, our guys love to play ball, and so like, I think players and coaches alike were itching to get out there. It is awkward to sit on the couch on a Saturday and watch games. You come here to play games. Like, that's why we're in this profession. That's why guys are in the locker rooms to play games. And so you've got some time off, and you're in the thick of the season, and everybody is in tune to what is out there. Like, guys are excited to go play, and so I don't know if there's a right way to take advantage of it other than to just do what we've been doing and continue to try to improve and bring energy while we're out there.
When you have 2 outside linebackers who are playing at the level that they are, does that allow you to do anything different schematically to maximize that at all?
You just try to get those guys as many one-on-ones as you can, and you try to do things to make sure that they're on the field at the same time in opportune moments. But yeah, like you said, those guys are playing at a high level, and so getting them one-on-one matchups is definitely something that we are in tune to going through the game plan process.
T-Rod's come in, been part of the rotation. Obviously, probably playing a bigger role next year. Like, what have you seen from him in his development?
I've seen growth and improvement. Especially he was sort of hurt during fall camp, and to see him come back the way he did the jump, and continue to work hard, continue to really embrace the technique and the fundamentals that Coach Jamo's preaching, and pushing those guys ahead of them like that. It's a competitive room, and so that group is continuing to improve. So we just, that's what our wish is for T-Rod, to just continue to try to get better every day, and then when he is out there to go make plays like we see him make in practice.
You're kind of talking about the versatility of those safeties. How much freedom does that give you to run maybe a lot of different kinds of packages during a game when they can do so many different things?
Yeah, like you guys see us, we sub all the time, depending on the situation and depending on what personnel grouping is out there for the offense. So I think what it allows you to do is it allows you to get into some pass-friendly or third down type calls on early downs when you got guys out there that can cover and have the type of versatility that they have.
Barry talked about, maybe not during the season right now, but fall camp, even in the spring, kind of you guys going over to the offensive coaches and going, hey, do we have tells, do we have tendencies that we're just not seeing? Is that conversation kind of a back and forth deal throughout the quote-unquote off-season?
Definitely during the off-season, just, specifically when we were going against each other. He'll ask questions about, should we run this play out of this set or this motion? And like you said, we'll ask, like, hey, if we're running this pressure, do you guys know it's coming? Or if we're dropping into this coverage, what are the pre-snap tells? So those conversations are beneficial. The back and forth is beneficial. Like I told you guys, coming out of fall camp, I was happy not to play against him anymore. He makes you play with all 11. And you got to play plays within plays, and if your eyes are wrong, then there's an explosive play waiting to happen. And so it's been fun to see his game plan put into play on other people. And so I'm happy for him and the success that they're having on that side of the ball. We got a great staff on offense, and those guys in the locker room are really believing in what they're preaching, and it just seems like they continue to get better and keep us off the field every week. So
Sidney might not get the midseason accolades that some of your other guys in the secondary do. Like, what's he mean to your defense?
Oh, he's crucial, man. Like he allows us. I don't know if there's any one person that's more important than the other, but his understanding of what the structure is and what type of calls we get to within that structure really plays games with the offense. Do they ID him in the fit? Do they think he's dropping the coverage? Is he coming in on a blitz? And so there's a rhyme and a reason for everything he does. And then obviously the style of play that he plays with is infectious, and guys really like being around him and playing with him. So does he get the 4 picks? I'm like, no, you know what I mean? And is he out, covering their top receiver down in and down out? No, but I think if you ask the opposing offensive coordinators who they pay attention to during the game plan process, I think it's number 30.
Time for one more question.
Those kind of games that Sidney, is that like, have you had someone like him before that you trusted to play those games, and is that something that would be like a prerequisite after him to try to? No,
like previously, I would have had to tell guys within calls, like, this is what I want you to show, and we're going to get to this. And with Sidney, he's so locked in and in tune with what we are doing schematically that he has the freedom to show. He knows what complements what, and so I think that's where he has separated himself. It's just his maturity, his work ethic. He is as meticulous of an individual, not just somebody I've coached, as an individual, period, in terms of his routine, and his work ethic and his film prep. He is the epitome of preparing the right way to get confident and be able to play fast on game days.
All right.